The Andersson.
Yeah, Kim W Andersson.
But in Denmark we don't use W that much.
Oh, you don't?
No, not really.
But there is the letter.
The letter's there.
And how do you
pronounce? When you're singing like the alphabet song, you don't do the.
Oh yeah, you skip it. What is it? What is it called? How do you pronounce it?
W.
W.
Yeah.
I like that. In Spanish, it's dobla av.
Oh, really?
I like that. Yeah. Actually, the worst one is in English because it's W, and it's so connected to W. Bush.
That's
right?
True. H.W. Bush.
So maybe I should go with the W. W. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Well, as you were saying in your own introduction that I didn't record, you are a superstar from Sweden.
Comic book superstar, yeah.
But you have actually, in a fairly short time, managed to achieve quite a few things. Now you've got Alena, which just came out in Danish.
Yeah,
Alena.
finally.
And which has been out in English as well, I believe.
It's been out on the Dark Horse Comics since August last year, so not very long, but yeah.
Yeah, and that has been made into a film as well.
They made a motion picture out of it. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
And you're not a follow-up to that book, but a second book named Astrid has also been published by Dark Horse now, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think being published by Dark Horse made a lot of things happen. On the comic book side, being published by Dark Horse, I think that's the reason, or one of the reasons, of course, that I finally got published in France by Alena, which is a huge thing. That's a big publisher in France. And a lot of countries have got their eyes on me finally because of Dark Horse. And I was in contact with Dark Horse for a lot of years before anything happened. I did what they always tell you not to do. They have a submission guidelines on their webpage, which you're supposed to follow very hard. But I didn't. I got the email address to the editor-in-chief then, Scott Alley, and I emailed him directly and just sent him a bunch of PDFs with my comics. And you're absolutely not allowed to do that, or supposed to anyway. But he was super friendly, and this is quite a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago or something. He was super friendly, and he said, "This looks really good. My assistant will be in touch with you." And that assistant was Jim Gibbons, who then became my editor when he became an editor. So I was in contact with Dark Horse for years, but it wasn't, of course, finally until I went over there. That's the other trick. You have to go there so they can meet you face to face and see that you're not crazy. You should remember that you're on the other side of the planet. They have no idea who you are. You could be a crazy person who stole all these comics and sent them to them. So you have to go over there and show them that you're for real and that you're nice and that you're serious about everything. So when I finally went over there to Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, it was a really cool Comic Con a few years ago. And when I came back from that, they were like, okay, let's do this. Let's sign some contracts. And the first one was The Complete Love Hurts, which collected all my short romantic horror comics called Love Hurts. They've actually been published in Denmark.
Oh, they have?
A few years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, in Free Comics. You remember Free Comics?
Yeah, that was Torben's Forlaget Forlæns project back in the day.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what Forlaget Forlæns is, they are also the ones publishing Alena.
Yeah. So I guess he had his. Well, we've been in touch always since then. That's 10 years ago. My God, I'm so old. Oh yeah, I don't remember where I was, but that's pretty much how I ended up on Dark Horse anyway. And I guess it also, maybe it helped that Peter Snejbjerg, the Danish, fantastic artist, has been my mentor for a lot of years, for like 12 years or something. And he has always been connected to Dark Horse as well. So maybe he put in a good word for me. I don't know. I haven't asked him. I don't think I will.
We'll buy him a beer tonight and
yeah,
ask.
I already did, actually. We'll see. He actually wrote a really nice foreword for The Complete Love Hurts, the first book that Dark Horse published. And that was really, really nice. I actually kind of got a bit teary-eyed from reading that. That was, thank you, Peter.
So in terms of the next steps now you've got Alena, which has come out in Danish, in Swedish, of course, in English, in France as well, or?
Yeah, that's the first book that came out on Glénat just a month ago or something like that. And I think it got a good response. I was there in Angoulême, the beautiful comics festival they have. And that was really exciting. I felt like a rock star, you know, because comics is so big over there. It's huge, right? So I did like interviews like these. I did like 5, 6 a day, and signings and dinners and everything was really, really exciting. So Alena was the first book in France, and then the next book, the latest book that you mentioned, Astrid, which is actually a book, the first book that I made for Dark Horse. It's a space adventure about a girl named Astrid, and it's the first book of many with Astrid. And I don't know if it's official yet, but Glénat is going to publish that as well.
So you heard it here first on Art Bubble TV.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, that all sounds really good, but moving on. So moving on, you're then working on more Astrid books already.
Yeah. That's what I want to do, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm working on the second Astrid book, and. With every book that I do, with every comic that I do, I try to give myself a challenge. So I made all these Love Hurts comics, all these short Love Hurts comics, and they were brilliant.
Says the creator.
No, they were brilliant for me to start out with. I don't mean that they were good. I mean that they were the best school I could ever have, because every episode, they were pretty short, only like 4, 6, 8 pages long. And then there was a few of them that were longer, but mostly that length. So I could work on it for like a month and really do the best that I could at the time, and so few pages, but still a whole month. I could really get it to a nice level, and most of all, I could try out things, because I didn't have to keep a style. I didn't have to keep characters or environments. For every new short comic I did, I could make a new exciting challenge. I could try out different techniques in writing and in artwork, in coloring, inks and whatnot. And that work happened a lot in Copenhagen. As I mentioned, Peter Snejbjerg is my mentor, and so I visited him at Gimle a lot during those years, and slept on the couch and just drawing all day. So under his guidance, that was a fantastic environment to develop. So that's the one thing that I try to say to all aspiring comic artists that come up to me. I always say to them, make short comics. That's how you learn. You have to learn, you have to finish a comic book. And a lot of these young aspiring artists and creators, they have these epic stories they want to tell, and I was the same way. I came to Gimle with my first project. It wasn't one book, it was 3 books, and thick books, and I did kind of 80 pages of it or something like that. But Peter told me, make short comics, and I actually forgot that he told me that, but he reminded me in that foreword for Love Hurts. So it's actually from him that comes, right? So when I had done all these Love Hurts comics, and then Alena was the new challenge to make a long story, and then Astrid is the latest challenge to make a comic book character that I can do several books with, that we can follow along for a long time. And I did the first. I'm really, really happy with it. It really turned out exactly like I wanted to, in the way that I had a few things, like goals. I wanted to create a character that you really, really, really liked. When you read it, you really sympathize with her. And I really think I did that with Astrid. And she's my kind of hero. She doesn't have any superpowers or anything, but she's a good... read it. It's hard to explain.
Well, if I were to compare it to anybody, it'd probably be like Ripley out of Alien.
Oh, nice, cool, sure. Yeah, I love Alien. It's one of the best movie ever.
Strong, confident woman who doesn't take crap.
Sure, yeah, definitely. But also, I didn't want to make that, because the strong female character has been done a little bit too much as well. I also wanted her to have weaknesses and just be a human being. And she has also like sides and thoughts that aren't very noble. But she has a good heart, and that's important, I think. It's like the comic is like a space adventure. It's like spaceships and aliens and fantastic planets with weird shit going on. So I wanted to make that kind of fantastical adventure, but at the same time, if something happens, it has consequences. I think in a lot of these adventure stories, something huge happens, and then in the next scene, it's like it's forgotten. It's like, well, one of your friends just died. Aren't you gonna grieve or something? I wanted to make like a fantastical adventure story, but with real feelings and real characters who are experiencing these amazing events like human beings and not just characters. Yeah, pretty much like that. What was the question? So, hey Denmark, I'm almost Danish. I've spent so much time here. It's time that you started buying my comic books. Just read them. They're pretty, I don't know, don't buy them, go to the library and read them. That's fine.
Vi tar normalt sett inte in elever mitt i terminen. Nu har ju vi gjort ett undantag för dig eftersom den kommunala skolan inte fungerade.
Har du gått i många skolor? Tillräckligt många för att veta hur du inte känner någon.
Helt ärligt, vad vet du om henne egentligen? Någonting är ju om det är så att man byter skola och sen måste ha en psykolog hängandes efter sig hela tiden.
Lugn.
Förlåt att jag är sen.
Det är så jävla skönt med någon som har lite egen fantasi här. Fattar inte ens vad Fabian ser i ett psyko som Alena. Fattar du det eller? Ni som är så bra kompisar.
Jag hörde att du var intresserad av lacrosse, stämmer det? Laget skulle ju verkligen kunna behöva någon som du.
Men tänker vi inte ta med henne i laget? Ja, du skulle inte förvåna mig. Ja, fast det är ju vårt lag. Men det verkar ju inte Alena fattat.
Jag känner ju Alena från hennes förra skola och det var aldrig hon som startade problemet.
Du gör ju bara allting värre.